this?
I'm Ray Marie. We don't know each other, but I'm a chum of Nigel's from Devon. Last time I spoke to him, he was full of stories in your detective voice. Is it true? Are you a detective?
Sure thing. We're members of the Eagle Eye Detective Agency back in America. Do you have something that needs investigating?
Yes. I'm afraid one of my neighbors does. Are you free to come down to Dartmoor and catch the day? One of my neighbors appears to be under attack by the Pixies.
Pixies? You mean like fairies? The little...
That's exactly what I mean. If you're as good as Nigel says, you have just got to come down and help us figure out how to fight back.
Fight the Pixies? I don't know, Ray, but we might be able to help out. We'll head down to Victoria Station and catch the next train. What a weird call. But any friend of Nigel's is a friend of ours. Let's see if we can help out. According to the guidebook, Dartmoor isn't a city at all. It's a national park. They call the area Dartmoor because it is moor, a damp peat-covered area near the River Dart. Looks like the train to Dartmoor is in, but which platform do we want, the westbound or the eastbound? Ray said that Dartmoor is in Devon. See if you can find it on your map of England. Then click on the compass direction W if we need the westbound train, or E if we need to take the eastbound train. Right. Let's head west, out to Devon and Dartmoor. This is a long trip, so I'll read up on Dartmoor on the way. There's Ray, but who are all those other people? And what on earth are they up to?
Thanks so much for coming, you two. Poor Mr. Bristol's really in a tiz. He thinks that the Dartmoor Pixies are after him. The legends about the Pixies say they can be very helpful, but also very mischievous. Some of the farmers around here still leave a bowl of milk and grain out for them every once in a while, to be sure they keep in the Pixies' favor. A token from the Pixies is supposed to bring good luck. So when Bob found a strange little coin here at the fairy ring when he was digging, he thought it might be a pixie coin, and he kept it for good luck. From what he has to say, it sounds like the Pixies thought he stole it, and they took the revenge.
Of course I've heard the legends of the Pixies, or the Piskies as some call them, but that's all they are, legends. There's no such thing. There must be a logical explanation for what's been happening on Bob's ranch. I have a hard time believing that the fair folk are rising up against him. I've tried to convince Bob that he should look for a rational explanation, but he's convinced that the Pixies are after him. He told me that this whole thing has upset him so much, he's thinking of packing up and moving off Dartmoor altogether.
It's here that I've offended them, in this ring of stones. I thought to dig a well here for my ponies, but I should have known better than to dig in a fairy ring. Ever since I started, I've had nothing but bad luck. First, 2 weeks ago, I found that the milk in my icebox had gone sour.
That doesn't seem very supernatural, just stinky.
Hear me out. That's not all. One night, last week, I came home and found my salt shaker on the floor. At first, I blamed my old tomcat, Mr. Tibbs. But now I see it was the Pixies. They're tormenting me. 2 days ago, my lucky horseshoe fell from the doorway just as I walked under it. It nearly brained me.
That was pretty bad luck.
That's what I thought as well. Bad luck, I said. So when I found my lucky charm here, I thought it meant that the Pixies had forgiven me and left me a token of their goodwill. But I was wrong. I should never have taken it from their fairy ring. They're furious with me now. When I came home after a long day at Torbay market with the ponies, I found that they'd raided my house and taken back the charm I found here. They tore down my curtains and dashed my photos to the floor. They pulled open all the drawers and cupboards and smashed the eggs from out my ice box. But hark at this. All the doors and windows were still locked, and the only thing missing was my lucky charm. It's a pixie warning, I say.
This path leads to Hound Tor. It's kind of a hike, but it'll be a pretty walk, and we can take the bus to Torbay from there. See those huge rock formations over there? That's Hound Tor. According to the map, if we keep heading down this path, we'll reach the bus stop we need to get to Torbay.
Hello there. Out for a ramble, are you? Mind the bogs now and don't go stepping into any fairy rings.
Fairy rings? Do you know anything about Dartmoor fairies?
The Pixies, you mean? Oh, I'm just out now gathering rowan twigs and St. John's wort hang on my doorway. Keeps the wee folk away, it does. I've heard they've been up to their old tricks again. Like I told Bob Bristol, I'm not one to take chances.
Rowan sticks and St. John's wort will keep pixies away?
Of course. Rowan is a tree, famous for protecting people from the supernatural. And St. John's wort is a herb that grows hereabouts. There's other things too. Bells, daisy chains, mould from a churchyard, horseshoes, red ribbons, a sock under your bed.
A sock under your bed? Well, at least we know our house is safe, right? I've always got socks under my bed. The guidebook I picked up at the train station says that the tors aren't really buildings or ruins. They're just the granite peaks of hills that have been exposed by weather through the ages. People on the moors use them as landmarks because they're easily recognizable from a distance. A lot of the tors are named for their shapes or some legend or piece of history connected with their area. We can take the bus to Torbay just a little ways down this path. Let's go! Torbay is a seaside town. There are docks down at the end of the street.
Now, don't pay any mind to anything Jim Mutter tells you. He loves to tell stories about the local legends, but I don't think even he really believes them. Sometimes people enjoy the stories of where they live so much that they tell them as if they were true. You can easily see why people who live on Dartmoor get superstitious, though. The deserted moors get rather eerie at times, and it would be easy to imagine all kinds of ghosts, beasties, or little people in the rolling fog. The moors are quite mysterious themselves. The stone circles found there date back to prehistoric days, and even these days, people occasionally come across ruins that no one knew existed. I can see how the more imaginative residents of the moors might think these old stone structures were constructed by sprites or fairies, but they're actually keys to the past. Some of them are burial mounds, some are old dwellings, some no one's sure quite what they were. When these structures are excavated or dug up carefully by archaeologists, they often tell us about the ancient peoples who once lived in England.
How can a bunch of old rocks tell us anything?
Well, the artifacts that are often found in old ruins and burial sites can be clues to how ancient peoples lived. For example, a broken pot would tell an archaeologist that the people who owned that home knew how to fire clay. An old coin might be a clue to how they were governed or who they traded with. A statue or idol might help tell us about their religious beliefs. Some of these finds are terribly valuable. Museums and collectors will pay a fortune for old art.
Pixies? What a load of old rubbish! Next thing he'll be on about aliens carving symbols into his fields. Nonsense, I say. Bob Bristol's as superstitious as they come. He was a seaman, you know, before he bought that ranch from Kate Fane. And sailors are often pretty superstitious fellows. Bob sometimes calls on Kate to house-sit for him while he's off buying ponies. She uses her old key to get inside. She says his house is filled with good luck charms like horseshoes, rabbit's foots, and the like. If you ask me, someone's trying to scare him off his land. That Marissa Burney, perhaps. She's got a pony ranch as well. Perhaps she thinks that if she scares Bob out of business, her ranch will get more customers.
Pixies? Aye, Dartmoor's famous for them. They're not wicked, really, but they do love a prank. Why, my old dad once had a run-in with them, out on the moors one night. Lost himself, he did, following their pixie lights into the night, and might have been lost for sure if he hadn't had the sense to pull his coat off and turn it inside out. That's a sure cure for being pixie lad, that. Full of mischief, the fair folk are. That's why you must always speak well of them. Never call them nasty names or speak harshly about them. They like to be called fair folk, wee ones, or good people. You must always be careful never to offend the wee ones, as they're quick to take offence. I was surprised to hear that old Bob Bristol's run afoul of them. He always had such marvellous luck, but I suppose he asked for it. Just yesterday at market he was telling Kate Fane and me about the good luck charm he'd found in his field while digging for a well. Took it from a fairy ring, he did. Kate seemed a bit worked up about it. Left for home straight after.
According to the guidebook, Dartmoor looks like the right. This path we can take the bus to I think we've got enough clues to help Bob Bristol out with his pesky-pisky problem. Pick the clues that you think best lead us to who pocketed Bob's good luck charm yesterday. Those are the clues we needed. Now, if you think the Pixies are after Bob, choose them. If you think someone else is behind the theft of his charm, pick them. You got it. The Pixies didn't break into Bob's house yesterday. Kate Fane did. Bob said that when he came back from the market in Torbay yesterday, his house had been ransacked, but the doors and windows were all still locked. Colonel Sweeney told us that Bob Bristol bought his house and ranch from Kate Fane a few years ago. He said that Kate sometimes house-sits for him using her old key to get into the house. Jim Mutter said that Bob told him and Kate Fane about the lucky charm he found at the fairy ring yesterday at market. But when she heard about it, Kate took off right away. Ray's dad, Ved Moraine, told us that the stone circles found on Dartmoor are actually the remains of ancient civilizations. He said that artifacts from those ancient people can be very valuable. When Kate Fane heard Bob talking about the good luck charm he'd dug up from one of the stone circles, she realized the land she sold him might be the site of an ancient treasure, but to be sure she had to see the coin Bob found. Since Bob would be all day at the market, she ran up to his house and used her old key to get in and search for the coin. Knowing how superstitious Bob is, she set up the house to look as if the legendary Pixies had visited, then locked the door behind her to cover her tracks. She may have fooled Bob Bristol, but not the Eagle Eyes.